I'm Darren Till, former UFC welterweight #1 contender, and now turned professional influencer boxer.
So much confidence and swagger.
I am the best.
Used to get into like confrontations when we were kids and that, and when you're a kid you don't know any better, you just scrap them. And then it was like sort of my father was like said to me, we have to channel this anger in another way. So we went down to like the local gym. That was just like the local, you're paying £3 type of gym. It bags and, you know, there's all our fellas in there just lifting weights. It was a cool, just raggedy gym. I think it's still open now as well, actually. Enjoyed it, you know, enjoyed getting the sweat on and learning a few new tricks and that. There was always coaches in there. And then obviously after that I sort of stepped up a little bit. I moved a little bit away from the football and I stepped it up. I was like, oh, I do like this. I was like, not necessarily the fighting, but I liked the art of fighting, the thinking behind it. Not to get too technical on people, but yeah, that's sort of where it all started for me. And then obviously, you know, school and stuff like that, I wanted to just sort of full-time fight. So I didn't really finish school, but not because of anything other than I was like, oh, I'm going to pursue this full-time, like this is me, I'm going to jump right in. And you know, obviously it worked out up to now.
You fought Tyron Woodley, you know, it's like being there. What, were you surprised by the outcome of that certain fight?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I think, I don't know though, because MMA and boxing, it translates so differently. Like Tyron Woodley in his heyday in the octagon, he was such a phenom. I still hold him as top 5 greatest welterweight of all time. The boxing is just a little bit different, and especially the way I seen Woodley coming in his shape, he just looked unmotivated, like he was doing it for the money. I'm not going to take anything away from Jake Paul, because Jake Paul, throughout the years now, I wouldn't really necessarily call Jake Paul an influencer fighter or a YouTuber anymore. He's put the appropriate work in to be classed as a pro. I wouldn't say he's a good pro. I'd say he's bang average, as the famous words of Eddie Hearn, but he done the job and he keeps doing the job. He's obviously picking his fights well against obviously over the hill MMA fighters and stuff like that. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and hate on him. You know, he obviously is working hard. That's very clear to everyone who watches or follows him on socials. So you know, I have to give him props on that front, sort of.
A lot of the Eddie Hearn stuff was Eddie saying, "Listen, I've got lads on my roster. 1 fight, 2 fights. That have you out there in a few rounds."
They would, yeah.
Do you know fighters from Liverpool, from over the UK, that have just had a couple of pro fights that you think could handle Jake pretty
I
easily?
think a lot, yeah. Like, you got to remember, these pros that Eddie are talking about, when you say 2-0, 3-0, that doesn't just mean that they've had 2 or 3 fights. That means they've had hundreds and hundreds of fights. The experience, the veterans already, even though that 2-0, I know it sounds mad, they just get Jake out of there. They just ring IQ, experience, all that. It just plays a big part. He put up a fight. I just don't see him. As Eddie Hearn said, I can't agree with Eddie more on that front. As I say, I don't want to take anything away from Jake, because you know, he's decent, but he's not of the level he thinks he is. Like he's talking about, he knows what he's doing, Jake. Let's not feed into this stuff that he you know. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows in Mike Tyson's heyday they never got near him. You know, he got Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was like 156 when he was him, so you know, he knows what he's doing, Jake. He's a very, very clever operator. So I respect that.
Nice. Without this being a call out or anything else, like just a lot of people would be interested to hear. What do you think if you and Jake would fight under that rule set, under boxing?
Yeah, I think I'd get him out of there. I think I'm a young fresh guy like he is, but obviously I've been around the block a lot more. A lot of pro fights, a lot of, you know, I've just got the experience. I just think I'd get him out of there. I reckon I've got more power and I reckon I've got more ring IQ and stuff like that, and it plays a big part in fights. But as I said, I'm not taking nothing away from him. He's a solid competitor.
This is something I was thinking about earlier, like, because I've been obviously following your career for a long time. We know you went away as a youngster. You had like a load of Muay Thai fights just as like a teenager. Then you went into the highest level of MMA. Now you're boxing, so you're what a lot of people would class as a real fighter. This influence the fighting scene, what sometimes people call fake fighting. How does it sit with you as a quote-unquote real fighter that this is happening?
I think it does what it says on the tin. If you're looking for the circus, you'll find it. We're in this influencer scene, you know, these promotions that are put on. Like, some of the fights and some of the stuff that goes on wouldn't necessarily go on in the pro game. But at the end of the day, it's making a big dent in sort of the fight industry. You know, a lot of people are tuning in. A lot of people are tuning in to watch me v Tommy. Hope a lot of people are tuning in to watch me versus Andy Taylor. But as I say, like, don't get it confused. It does what it says on the tin. Like, it's influencer boxing, so you're not going to get your standard like press conferences, fights, stuff like that. Like I went to the Dylan Dennis fight versus Logan Paul, and Dylan Dennis tried to take him down in like the 7th round. So, you know, if you're looking for the circus in the influencer scene, you'll find it. But as I say, like my fight with Andy Taylor's just a strict boxing professional fight. You know, there's no gimmick there. I mean, even he's a little bit gimmicky, but all Americans are, aren't they? They just not a lot of what they say, not a lot of sense comes out of them, especially Anthony. But yeah, if you're looking for the circus, you'll find it in influencer boxing. That's not disrespecting anything to do with it, because it's brought a lot of new eyes to the platform. You know, like from YouTube and from all these. So they're all social media stars, basically, aren't they? Like I didn't, you know, when I was coming up, social media was not a thing. Like it's not even a thing nowadays for me. Like if it wasn't who it was, I don't even have social media now. I wouldn't have social media. Do you know what I mean?
So if someone was critical of Jake Paul, a lot of times you turn around and say, if it wasn't for me, young fighters on the undercard, they're getting this amazing platform, they're getting to fight with high-level competitors, the world's seen them. Would you agree with that?
Totally, yeah. Like he's given these young fighters and these fighters he's looking after now, because obviously he's created his own platform, a chance for the world to see them on like, you know, big shows like Netflix, not big shows, but like the platform like Netflix, which is, you know, I think 110 million people viewed Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. So if you were on the undercard of that, look at the viewership you would have got, and that then brings in sponsors, you know, collaborations and stuff like that. So Jake Paul is actually doing more good than he's doing. He's not doing any bad. Like, okay, we're all close. Years ago he was a YouTuber boxer. He's a professional boxer now. So we have to, you know, we have to step outside as the circus and go, hang on, this is what this is and that's what that is. Do you know what I mean? That's how I try to do it anyway.
Just saying on that like Netflix point with the Jake and the Mike Tyson stuff, a lot of people were so sad to see Mike Tyson look like that they were looking for conspiracy theories in the fight, that he took a dive or anything. Do you think there's any truth in that, or was that just a guy waiting past his prime fighting a young lad who was athletic?
Again, it does what it says on the tin. Usually when you're 56 and you've snorted cocaine for half your life, you're not going to be able to last in there at 56 years of age. You're a young, strong guy on steroids. So, sorry to just say as it is, but that's how it is. It does what it says on the tin. Mike Tyson could have been fighting my 5-year-old daughter now. It probably would have been an even fight. He's 56. He was in a wheelchair a year and a half ago.
And if Jake would have fought Tyson when they were both the same age?
We don't have to talk about that, because why would we want to disrespect one of the best heavyweights of all time in boxing? Like the fact that that's an even sentence in someone's head is very disrespectful to Mike Tyson. Yeah, again, it does what it says on the tin. You know, rip Jake's heart out if they fought and they were both young.
I think that's just a really nice line. If we could just get that clear, that you think if anyone was to ever ask the outcome of that fight, it's disrespectful to Mike Tyson, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The fact that even comes up, not even to say it out loud, it even comes up in the head to say, if Jake was to fight Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was young, Mike Tyson would have ripped his heart out. And he would have, literally.
We're going to move on to a new figure, which is Logan Paul. What do you think about the rumours that he might be fighting McGregor now? We've seen McGregor fight Mayweather, and we've seen Logan Paul fight Mayweather as well.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen if they just start straight fighting boxing?
I mean, I think Conor would win. I want to say Conor, because Conor's, people seem to forget, Conor's phenomenal. Like what he does is striking background. Logan's big dude, big strong dude. But again, I've seen Logan fight Dylan, and he's abysmal. Like he's truly garbage. So I think Conor's teasing us all, by the way. Conor ain't fighting Logan Paul, but yeah, I think Conor would get him out of there. I think he would. I hope he would. Like if he couldn't, it'd be quite a bit of a shock, to be honest with you. But as I say, I don't know which Conor would be there. Like Conor's loving life at the moment, which he's earned the right, hasn't he?
Sure. What do you think about Logan moving to the pro wrestling stuff?
I think it's brilliant. I think he's a very strong, tall, athletic guy. I think that's his niche. He cannot fight. Logan does know how to fight. I've seen him hit the bag. I've seen him fight Dylan Dennis. Logan Paul should never fight again. So that's my advice to Logan. Just try and stay with your brothers, much better than you are. The wrestling, though, he's brilliant at it. Watch them, brilliant.
I've seen the two brothers, Logan and Jake, always have like a falling out when they were trying to decide who was the best. Is it your opinion clearly that Jake's just a much more skilled fighter?
They know as well. They're fooling all us. Anyone that buys into that crap, sorry to say, you're an idiot. So they're fooling us. The brothers, for God's sake. And if they're not fooling us, then they're a pair of idiots. But I'm not going to say they're idiots, because they're much richer and cleverer than me, as it seems.
Next person is Tommy Fury. There's a lot of people say there's a very clear ceiling with Tommy in terms of where he can actually achieve in pro boxing. whereas he himself is saying, I'm going to be champion one day or something. What do you think of his actual ability and where he can go?
Before fighting me, I would have had an opinion on it. I said, oh, this, after pulling out the way he did on me, it's very hard to say. I never ever considered Tommy as a real fighter. I always thought he's probably been dragged into it by his family, his father more than anyone. Now, my opinion sort of changed in a total different way. It's sort of like, he can't even make it to a fight with a supposedly MMA fighter. So like, I really think Tommy should just train now for enjoyment and just put it aside all that, because he's got a lot of money. He's made, obviously his family have got a lot of money as well. His girlfriend is obviously a successful entrepreneur as well since the reality TV. So I think Tommy just needs to put fighting aside and just do it as a hobby. I really don't think he's a real fighter. Like, I know there's been jokes about it over the years, but this time around, like, you know, what he done with me was quite disrespectful. So yeah, I don't think Tommy's cut out for this fight game. And I think he knows that himself. I think he needs to really have a word with himself. It's probably his dad. His dad probably forced him into it. Probably scared of his dad.
Why do you think Tommy Fury always has John Fury with him? He seems to be always there causing carnage. It's an odd thing.
Well, he was causing carnage, wasn't he, until I got involved. And then John, I don't know. I feel like it's a clan thing, like the Fury clan, like Tyson, John, Tommy. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe he needs his dad. Maybe his dad sells the fight because Tommy can't really string a sentence together, can he? Like, there's not a lot going up inside the head of Tommy. He's landed on gold, hasn't he? Like, going the TV and finding his girlfriend. So I think his dad's the one that sells the fights. And props to them, they've done well. Listen, they've robbed the bank, so you can't hate on that. You gotta, don't hate the game. You know, don't hate the player, hate the game, innit?
Just analytically, you must have been training for Tommy.
Yeah.
When you guys thought you were fighting him. How do you think that fight would have turned out if it happened? I reckon I'd have got him out of there in the later rounds. I really do. He's not awkward or nothing. He just throws the same punches. He's big. He's built like a bodybuilder. Like, aesthetically, he looks really good. Like, he does. Obviously, he's got the body everyone wants on the beach, but that doesn't matter in fighting. Like, Daniel Cormier was a two-weight heavyweight world champion in the UFC. For me, probably top 5 most dangerous men of all time. And he had a big, dab belly on him. So for me, I reckon I'd have got him out of there in the later rounds. I think Tommy likes the idea of fighting. I think when it comes to actually putting work in and being a proper fighter, I don't think that's Tommy. It's interesting. Are you able to talk about what exactly happened between you and Tommy to cause the fight not happen?
Yeah, no secrets from me ever. So obviously we had the press conference where some words got said. Obviously I said I'd kick him in the head if I was losing the fight. Tommy knows as well, Tommy's seen the contracts, in my contractual agreement, anything like that, especially from me, my side, because I'm an MMA fighter and he is a pure boxer, I would have lost all pay and I would have been sued by the promotion, which is obviously Misfits. When he pulled out, when he did, I don't think he informed either the promotion, my team. He's obviously informed this team, but he's put an Instagram story up, and that's how I found out, like everyone else. And then after that, he done an interview when Tyson was fighting in Saudi Arabia, saying Darren was speaking to betting companies. It's like, he's just clutching at straws. Like, so that's the truth of it. Like, on my kid's life, I wasn't speaking to no betting companies. For what? Just because I was going to kick him in the head. He's just a dafty. He's just a big dafty.
Is that maybe a difference between your upbringing fighting? Because I know in the Muay Thai world, you don't really pull out of a fight unless you can't walk that week and all the rest of it. So for him to pull out over something you think is so small, was that why you feel disrespected by it?
Yeah, for me, how I've seen the Furies, carry themselves over the years, they've built every fight up off the back of press conferences, trash talk, shit talk, whatever. I've seen John countless times, use tactics, which it's all fine, it's all within the realm of fighting. This is what we're doing, we're fighting, we're entertaining the people that want to be entertained, that pay money, whether it be there or online. So then I've come along, and because I've sent some mean and nasty words to them that they've done to everyone else, they've back-footed it. So I'm still confused by it, to be honest with you. I'd love to one day get the reason why. I think I know the reason why myself, but I don't know. It's very confusing.
They came to you guys with another offer and said, you know, let's do this, we're willing to do it this time, would you consider?
Yeah, I'd be a moron not to, because at the end of the day, money talks, and me and Tommy were going to get paid. This is what I'm so confused about. We were getting paid. So, you know, for me to sit here and go, no, I'd be a moron, because this is the prize fighting business. So, yeah. But obviously this time I'd have to be the one controlling the narrative of it, because he was the A-side when we were fighting, obviously. But then he's pulled out now, he's lost all them privileges, do you know what I mean? So, it's on him, not me. I'm still here fighting January 18th. I haven't gone nowhere.
Last person I want to talk about is Tyson Fury.
Okay.
What do you think about him supposedly announcing his retirement?
I think is this the 20th time he's retired now. So I don't think much, as I say to you. It sounds very thingy, but whatever you say to me, I just go, I say, this is me, I want to say this is, it does what it says on the tin. We've seen Tyson retire 15 times, so how are we meant to take this serious again? Like, if he's retired, props to him. Like, for me, brilliant heavyweight. Done a lot for the sport, especially in the UK, especially for up-and-comers, which I'm all about. But it's like Conor McGregor. Conor's retired countless times and then come back. It's like, is this publicity? Are you telling yourself you're retired and you're going to come back in 6 months? Like, for fighters to let go of that, it's very hard. That's why most of them come back when they're 50 to fight. Like, why are you coming back when you're 50? Some of them have obviously made poor choices in terms of business, money, stuff like that. But us fighters, we're not business savvy, are we? We just get a load of money and we just blow it. So I'm not going to take what he's saying. I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. Well, he's retired before, so I'm not believing you now. And if he stays retired for the next 2 years, then yeah, it's sound, he's retired. But for me, again, I'm not going to buy into any of that bullshit. I'm not trying to say he could be retired. Fair play, Tyson, you've had a great career, but he's retired 15 times, so I'm not. It's just bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Maybe just to get the Joshua fight bigger. I don't know. Then paid a daft shit 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, I said it. Well,
what do you think about the state of the sport? And a lot of people say, how can you have such an exciting fight that's not happened yet? Is that a problem with the sport?
That's a massive problem with the sport, because, for instance, when Islam Makhachev was fighting Charles Oliveira, I hope I've got it right, Alex Volkanovski was the champion at 66 kg, featherweight, and he was the replacement fighter in case one of them got injured. When have you ever heard of that in boxing, that, let's say, let's just put out there, Tyson Fury's fighting Joshua, and the backup is Usyk? That shit don't happen. So it's like, the promoters, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, and all these other promoters, which I've got nothing against them, but they're all having this big ego off to see who's the better person. Tyson and Joshua have been teasing us for years. Like, that fight should have happened 5 years ago when they were both unbeaten. But I don't give a fuck to watch that fight now. Will I watch it like a moron like the rest of us? Yeah, but I'm not arsed. Like, Joshua's been knocked out, Tyson's been knocked out. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see the fight. Honestly, if they were fighting me back out, I'd probably close the curtains. So, like, they've missed the chance, mate, and they're gonna still rob us, the public, again, for hundreds of millions.
Got one more about Tyson Fury. So we just chatted before. There was this thing, like on the Joe Rogan podcast, the question was asked, if you were to put Tyson Fury and John Jones in a room.
Yeah, you shouldn't be asking me this question.
Okay, so first of all, your thoughts, what would happen if you put John Jones and Tyson Fury in a room together? Which man would walk?
I mean, if Tyson did walk out, I don't know what to say. Like, I'd be very, very surprised, because there's a reason that MMA fighters go to boxing and boxers don't go to MMA. And it's not any disrespect, because I'm in a gym full of amazing boxers and hard, like, guys. When you brew it down, we've just got too many weapons for. Think about, like, just a normal guy. Like, we know how to put people to sleep, get people in holds, kick, knee, elbow. It's just the whole of the ball game, and you know, sometimes I mess with the boxers in the gym. Like, you're just putting them into places that they just don't know they've never been. So Tyson could never walk out of a room with me if we was in there together. Like, you just can't. I've sparred Tyson MMA. Like, I took Tyson down with ease. You're talking about the most vicious, violent man on earth. Nobody would walk out that room unless they were another competitor on the same level, i.e. Tom Aspinall, Cain Velasquez, Stipe Miocic, Daniel Cormier. Other than that, nobody's walking out, especially not Tyson Fury, to answer your question.
Well, it's a good answer, but maybe just one last one, maybe a more interesting question is, why do you think people don't understand that? It's so obvious.
Well, It's just like me now. If you just put me in an office, some random office, and say, be a lawyer, do lawyer work, go on, do it. It takes years. It's the same thing. Just because we don't have a 9 to 5, no disrespect to anyone who does a 9 to 5, everyone working is on his job, but it's just people, the normal average person, it's very hard to explain, but it's just as I've explained. If you put me in front of a computer, I don't even know where the space bar is. That takes years, all that stuff to learn. Like, I'm making an example to be a lawyer. It takes years to hone your skills of being an MMA fighter, and you never get there because there's that many different varieties of... The reason the sport's so beautiful because there's so many ways to win and lose, you know. Hopefully that explains it to someone who wants to understand. But a lot of the time people don't want to understand. People say, oh, well, street fighting's different. Well, it's not different. It just gives us more of a chance just to kill you. Like, basically, there's rules. There's no rules on the street. So, i.e. John Jones. If John Jones comes and picks a guy up and throws him on the pavement and just snaps his neck, sorry to be so brutal, that's just what it is. So there's no street fighting boxing. MMA is the be all and end all because there's just so many weapons. So I hope that if anyone's listening, that explains it better. And that's from a reality point of view. That's not me being anything. Like, I'm boxing now, but don't get it twisted. MMA fighters are still the most dangerous people out there.